So in this lecture, we learn about Latex. So this is a software for typesetting documents. So basically what it does is it prepares documents. Now this is a free software. It's open source. So there's enough material online that you can find regarding this software and how we can use it in our class. It's used to create documents for not only mathematics but also sciences, and this will give you a brief idea about what coding is, and through this you can create these documents, create templates, create different put different images and things like that in the document and print it if you'd like, or just save it. So we'll discuss a few ways to write code in this language. Okay. So let's start by writing our first document. The first few commands that we need to know. The first thing that you want to do is use the backslash. You'll see this in the QWERTY keyboard below delete, probably. That's where you'd see it. So you'll see the backslash, and you want to write the phrase document class. So that's the first step to create a document on LaTeX. And then we'll use the curled brackets and we'll write article. First we'll start with the article placement, and then we'll talk about other options that we can use in LaTeX. So document class article. And then we'll hit enter and go to the next line, and we'll write begin. So this is your second command, begin. So to begin your document, to start the entire document, we'll start with document class, and we'll need to put the curled brackets and put article. And then we'll go to the second line and write begin the document. And then we'll hit enter and we can write anything in it. Maybe write a small description about what you want to do through this document creation. So let's say I want to write a paragraph. You can write anything. And then we'll end this. We are using the backslash every time. So all of these are backslashes. And what are we ending? The document. Again, we are using that curled bracket. Try to put the curled bracket in it. So that's our first document that we've ever created. You can hit the save button, you can compile this document, and you'll see the result of this document on your screen. Okay, so in this video we'll learn how to format words, lines, paragraphs, put it in a setting so that we can give it a title, we can put our name, the author's name, we can put a date, we can put a few items. So again, it's all about following the direction. So the first step that we did in the previous part of our video, we started with the backslash. and we went to document class. So every time you're going to write the same thing, backslash document class, and it's one word. I'm writing it as two words, but you do not put a space in between. In this case, we'll uh, use either the US letter or the A4 paper size. So that's where our formatting will be. So I'm going to use A4 paper. So with that, we'll just use our square brackets and we'll put A4 paper. And what size do you want your font to be? 11 point. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. And again, we had article. So between document class and article, we'll put our paper size and the font size in between it. And then in the previous case, we had begin. What are we beginning? The document. And a begin will always end with the end of whatever you're beginning, right? So within begin, we'll put title. So what do you want to call your document? Whatever name you want to give it. Let's say example 2. And then let's put an author, again backslash author. And this will be your name. And then let's enter the date for it. So all of these are backslashes, and whatever the date is, September 9th, 2021. And then let's make the title. So this command of making the title is where it starts making the title. And then let's put a section for it. And you can compile at every point when you write a line, but just make sure that you have the end document. Otherwise, your compilation won't happen. So whenever you write begin document, you can always put end document. So these are your main titles or your sections that will be created. And then what do you want to write in it, right? So you can write anything over here. This is my second document. Sorry. Or something like that. So let's add a few things to this. So the first part of our document is called the preamble, the beginning. And this section between the begin and the end part is called our environment. So some technical words that you might come across: the preamble, the environment of the document. And everything is a command, okay? So command normally looks like this. So any command may have a backslash and just a command. Like if you saw make title for one of the cases in the previous one, or there's a command and an argument, or there's a command and an optional argument, and then the arguments. Like in the first line of your document class, that's what it looked like. So most of your commands will look like this, and then we'll talk about other stuff afterward. So let's make a modification to the previous example. Let's write an extra part to it. So document class. We had A4 paper, 11 point. And the idea is that if you keep writing this, it will become practice. So avoid doing copy and paste, rather type them, and then you'll remember what's the command, and it will help you how to write it. Begin document, and remember, begin document always has an end document. The argument is document, and the command is end. And what are we using as our title? Let's call it example 3. And then again, author. Who's the author? You can put your name in here. Date. Whatever, September. (9, 2021). And then make your title, right? Again, it's all one word, okay? No spaces are being used. And then let's create the section. And you can skip some of these, like you don't need a section every time if you don't need it. Right now we are just using these commands to show you what these would do to your document. Let's put a question mark and close this, okay? And then let's write this as our second document, like what we wrote earlier. And then we'll put a space, right? So enter twice. And we'll come to a next line. So it contains 2 paragraphs. And then we'll end the document. And see what happens over here. You'll see when you compile this document, you'll see that the second paragraph is indented to a certain extent. Okay. So if I want to make a comment, like, and the reason why I'm making a comment is I want to save it so that it describes what is happening. So for example, if I took the first statement, document class, and I put A4 paper, 11 point, and I put the argument as article. Now if I want to write a comment, I'll use the percentage sign. Okay, so right after this, you put a percent sign and you say start of document or something, whatever you want to write. This will not print. This is just your notes. So anything with that percent sign will not print. It will just show what you're trying to describe about the situation. So you can use this always as a tool, okay? So let's print a few symbols, like maybe the percentage sign, maybe the dollar sign, maybe the ampersand, the underscore, the curled brackets. So how do we print that in LaTeX? So again, we start with the same thing, backslash. So your backslash is your main go-to to create your command. So let's say we are just creating an article. We don't want to print it in a certain format. We begin the document. Okay, then let's call it statement backslash hashtag 1. And then 50, the number 50, backslash percent of backslash dollar 100 makes backslash dollar 50. Now see, if you don't follow the step, none of this will write. And this is what coding is all about. You've just got to follow the step. If they ask a certain notation, you've got to use that notation. You cannot change it. You can't put a forward slash and get anything to work in LaTeX, at least. It won't compile. But if you put a backslash and you put it in, it will work. And then if I said more special symbols. So the writing is without any backslashes, like your description, your paragraph. But if you want to put any symbols, you'll see you've got to use the backslash. So backslash, ampersand, comma, backslash, underscore, comma. I'm in the next line, but you can write it in the same line. Backslash, curled bracket, and backslash, curled bracket again with full stop. And then you can end the document. See what this compiles for you. Now you might wonder how to write backslash in LaTeX. So in LaTeX, to get a backslash, the command is backslash. So put a backslash and then write the word backslash. And you'll get backslash as your on your screen. Okay? And if you put two backslashes, you'll notice that that is like a line end. Okay? It's a line break. So some things you can use in LaTeX. Let's work with some fonts. If I want to get some fonts like bold, italicize, or emphasize a word, again, document class. Article. Begin document. And then text can be. Now to emphasize a phrase, we'll put EMPH, that's the command. And what word are we emphasizing on? We'll put it in the curled brackets. So the word emphasized, you'll see how it prints, okay? And then let's keep going on. Let's put a proper phrase just to see how we are writing. Besides being text IT, that is representing italic. That's what you'll do. Text IT for italic. Words can be text BF for bold. Okay. Text SL for slanted, or typeset in text SC for small caps. Right? So that's your first section. Now if I want to add more things to it, like if I want to do a nested italic bold, then I've got to do the italic first, the italics, and then the bold, and then the word. Okay? So let's see how that would write. So I can use such commands. Let's just write a phrase. Such commands can be backslash text italic slash text bf, and whatever word you want to call it, nested, right? And then let's say if I just want to emphasize a phrase like see how, and then emphasizing as a word, it's going to remove the emphasis on it, like a double looks when nested. And nesting is just like a nest of a bird where you control things by putting it in a closure. So the only word that is not going to get emphasized will be the word emphasizing. And let's end this document. And let's see what this prints for us. Okay. One way to remember this command is, think of it this way: text and these two stars. Now for italics, we'll put argument. For italics, in the space for star, we put IT. For bold, we'll put boldface. For slanted, we'll put SL. And then for small capitals, we'll put SC. Right? And the other one that we used is the EMPH for emphasizing argument. So let's try a different one where we want to go from maybe one font to another. Let's just create a LaTeX document with this code. So document class article, begin the document, and then let's do the section. Let's say we want SF backslash LaTeX backslash, and then resources on the internet. And we'll close that. And then we want to put the best place to download LaTeX resources is, now if I want to put an HTTP address, I can put it this way, text TT, and let's put the entire link and see what happens. The URL c10.org. So the C10 is a good space for LaTeX related software, and then end our document. So in this document, the SF is showing sans serif, that font. Okay. The text TT is to get the typewriter font, this one. And then if you want more fonts, you can use maybe like TEXT RM for Roman fonts, for Roman text, not the serifs. Okay? So if I wanted to summarize everything, let's make a small table. Command, declaration, and what's the meaning. So the command is text rm, and our argument can be anything right here. So this is calling for the Roman family. And then if I did text SF, same thing. This is calling the sans serif family. If I did text TT, that would be the typewriter family. And then if I did BF, that would be the boldface series, or the boldface family. And then if I did MD, that would be medium, or the MD series. And then if I did text IT, that would be my italics. IT shape. So it's actually asking for a shape right here. And then if I did SL, that would be my slanted. So this is an important sheet if you look at it. That would be my slanted shape. SL shape. And then SC will be small caps. SC shape. Text SC. And then text up is your upright shape. So you see the consistency in the command, your upright shape. And then the default is just text normal. normal font, default. Now if we want to increase the font size, let's look at the font size. How do we increase that? Okay, so document class article begin document and then let's not put an indent, so no indent, use it as one word, \tiny v, and then \script size, and then we'll talk what are we doing here. Start. Footnote size small. And we'll write the word small also. So remember, the first small is just a command. And then let's put normal size / forget \large, and the word we want large is big, and then large again, but with a capital L. And then let's go to huge. So you see what's happening? From huge, small, we go to capital H, and then we'll go to the entire letter being capitalized. And let's end this document and then compile and see what you get. We can also use our environment to create a similar effect. So document class article begin document begin huge, and everything will be huge. Now I can do BF series to get everything in bold, and let's put a small example, maybe not as small as it may appear to be, and then end huge. So all your huge stuff will stop. And then let's take a big skip. Look, check out this command, big skip. And just an illustration. And then end document. So what if you wanted to use a certain name or document or description frequently? Like let's say we were working for a school and we wanted to continuously use the same attribute or the same title every time. We could create a short command which will print out the entire name of the school. The in the certain font we want it, or however we want to describe it. So whenever we want to call that document, we can just refer to its name and then use that name to describe the entire aspect. Like maybe a title of a page, for instance. What if you've got to use that title of the page frequently? So we'll use the new command concept, or the new command. Let's put it that way. So new command. So we'll use an example and then we'll compile that code. So again, let's start with document class. And let's put article. So now we'll do the new command. And let's say we are creating it for a company, the tech users group, TUG. So now this would be your name for that new command. And whenever you want it, you'll refer to TUG. Now this refers to tech users group. So whenever the software sees \TUG, it's referring to tech users group. So you don't need to write tech users group every time. And we'll run this code and we'll see how it works, okay? So let's begin our document. Let's call the section the TUG. Sorry, since I used caps in the previous part, I'll even use caps over here. So you'll see this feature even over here. So \TUG. And then let's write a sentence just to get you started. TUG, and then the \, again, is an organization for people interested in tech or Latex. And then let's end the document. So the new command has a lot of advantages. New command, what it does is, as you'll notice, whenever you type, like in the previous case, whenever you type \TUG in the command, we notice that the entire name pops up. Tech users group. So instead of writing tech users group frequently, we just put \TUG, and it will write that same name for you. Okay. You can also use a few other formatting details with it. Like if you wanted to do new command, TUG, and let's say if you wanted to do small caps, text, small caps, and put the entire thing, tech users group. So remember the curled brackets, those are important, okay? So you should know how many you've put in to do the closure. So this is the first closure, these two check marks, and then I'll put a circle on top of the other closure. So therefore I need two curled brackets here to do the entire closure. Otherwise your code won't run. Your compiler will continuously print an error. So you want to avoid errors, otherwise you'll have to then correct the error before your code will run properly. Okay, and that's what can irritate some people. So you want to stay away from that space. So try to write your code as clean as possible, where you write your comments, your backslashes, your spaces, all those things, and you'll notice that your code will run clean then with minimal errors. Another thing that you may have noticed for when we use the tech, we put another backslash after it, but for the LaTeX, we just put one backslash, and there's a reason why we put the second backslash. If we skip this, there would be no space between the words. So if you read the sentence, it says tech or LaTeX. So if I don't put the space, I don't put this backslash, if I skip this and just miss this part, it would print this way. But we want a space over here. We want a space here. That's why we are putting this backslash. And you can always remove that backslash and compile and see how your writing will appear, how the text will appear. Okay, so here we'll learn how to create some space after a command. So to generate spacing after commands. So normally there is a tendency to avoid the backslash following a command, right? You may have forgotten it. So if you forget it, then your code would run in most cases, but sometimes, let's say if it doesn't run. So if you want that spacing always to occur, we can use this thing called a package. So in this case, we'll introduce a package. So our code looks the same, but we'll use this package. Okay, so start with document class article, and then we'll use a package over here. So write this use package, and let's call it, let's say the name is X space. So just talking about space. So new command that you created for TUG, and let's say we want it to be in small caps. And what are we writing? Tech uses group. Close that, and let's put the X space over here. Okay, and then begin the document, and then whatever you want to write. So that will automatically create that space for you and create your environment. And end document. Okay, so we'll create a new command or a macro for formatting keywords. So let's see this code. So again, let's start with document class article, and then new command, and let's use keyword. So whenever you call keyword, right, let's put a 1 here, and text, maybe let's create boldface and hashtag 1. So begin document, keyword, grouping by curly braces, limits the keyword scope of keyword declarations, and end the document. So see how this code works. So let's just analyze the previous code. So the number 1 in the square brackets is just showing the number of arguments that we want to use. So if you put 2, then it would be 2 arguments. If it was 3, then it would be 3 arguments. Now if you want to modify any appearance, like let's say to italics, just modify the backslash keyword, and then the change will be global throughout. So if you made the change there, the entire thing will be throughout. Okay, so let's write another code, and remember, all the optional arguments are always in the square brackets. That's how the code works. Okay, so let's write this code. Check what happens over here. So if you put document class, and I would urge you to write everything, the reason being because then it becomes part of your memory. New command, and then we've got keyword, and let's say we want 2 arguments, /bf series. We've got hashtag 1 and hashtag 2. So begin document, keyword, grouping, by curly braces, limits the keyword scope of. So the code looks the same, but see what happens to this one. IT shape and declarations and document. So if you notice, the keyword IT shape will change the keyword to italics if you look at the formatting. So let's look at the new command definition. So If you look at it very closely, it's new command, and then your command, whatever it's called, and then you've got your arguments. You've got 1, 2, and then your optional arguments, and then the definition. So let's describe everything. What is a command? The name of the new command starting with a backslash followed by a lowercase and or uppercase letters, or a backslash followed by a single non-letter symbol. That name must not be already defined and is not allowed to begin with backslash and. Arguments 1 to 9, an integer from 1 to 9. So integer from 1 to 9. So if you omit this, the argument will have, the command will have 0 arguments. So there will be no arguments. Okay. So the command name is backslash and name of command. That's how you would define it. Then the optional one, if this is present, then the first of the arguments would be optional with a default value given here. Otherwise, all arguments are mandatory. And then the definition, every occurrence of the command will be replaced by definition, and every occurrence of the form #n will then be replaced by the nth argument. So if you put #1, it will take the first argument. If you put #2, it will take the second argument, and so on and so forth. So let's just put #n. So this is using logical formatting, okay, and you can use this as an advantage to writing your code. Now, what if you wanted to create boxes to limit the width of a paragraph? So let's create a box. How do you create a box in LaTeX? So again, document class article, and then you begin your document. And let's say we want to create a paragraph box. So we'll put PAR and box. So this is your paragraph box. Let's say we want it to be indented or spaced at 3 cm. Let's put 3 cm. Okay. Then let's say TUG is an acronym. It means, remember the 2 backslashes, the second one will give you the space. Therefore we put it. And then let's end the document. So the 3 cm is the width, okay? And the contained text is in the second part of the argument. So if you look at, there are 2 curled brackets. The first part is the width, and this is the content of the box. Okay, so par box takes the argument text and formats the output to fit the specified width. So if you look at your code, the par box would give you the box with the code in it. So a common paragraph box code would look like this. Par box, alignment, width, and then the text. Okay. So in our case, we just had the width and the text, but you could also put the alignment to see where the placing is. So it's up to you. If you want to put the alignment at the top, you would put T. If you want it at the bottom, you would put B. And the default behavior is to be placed at the center. The width of the box, it can be given any ISO unit, international standard units, like 3 cm, 44 mm, 2 inches, something like that. The text that you want to put in the box is a short form of text that you would want to put in, and that's how this would work. Okay, let's look at another paragraph box code that we'll write. So let's look at this code. Write this and see what it works as. So document class article, begin document, and then let's say if I want to write text line. Okay. And now let's introduce the squad paragraph box. So this will appear at the bottom. Okay. Let's put a width of 1.8 cm. This par box is aligned at its bottom line. Let's say I put 1.5 cm. So this would be central then. Center aligned paragraph box. T means top, 2 cm. Another paragraph box aligned at its top line. And document. Let's add more features to the par box. So now we'll try to use. So if you want to frame a box, you can do F box, okay? This code will frame your box. So if you put an F box in front of the par box and followed the same code, you can put a frame around it. If you want a mini page within a page, like a page within a page, like, you can create like footnotes or something like that, or maybe a small box. You could use another environment called the mini page, and that will create a similar feature to the paragraph box. Okay, so let's write this code, see how it works. Okay, so again, document class, and it's an article, begin document, begin mini page, and let's say we put in a value of 3 cm. Again, we can use any one of the ISO units. TUG is an acronym. It means Tech Users Group. And many page, and then we'll end the document. And I mentioned footnote. If you wanted footnote, you would use the footnote text, and that will get you a footnote. Okay. So if your words do not fit in properly, you can use this command of hyphenation. And whatever your word is, like let's say if acronym did not fit in the same line, or it created this excessive amount of space, you can put acro and nym, acro-nym, and that will create your space. This you can add to the preamble of the code, and it will work for you. Okay. Other ways to show hyphenation are also if you give it a couple of options, then it will use those options. Another way to do it is by using this is another way to do it. One thing, you just have to be careful with what you want from the box, right? So if you do this all in the preamble, then the document will be consistently using this format. And you can use this only when you need to. It depends. Just look for when you need to use it. Another way to use hyphenation is by using the hyphenat package. And these are all open source, so you can find them easily online. So if you use the package with no optional attribute. Another way to produce a document is to use the package micro type. So there was this person, Hanti Chan, I think that's his name. He created this PDF deck. So we're actually using PDF Latex now, when we can produce PDF documents very easily using the microtype part or the package. So now if we want to break lines, like you want to break a line, you can use the double spacing, the double backslash. So if you use the double backslash, you automatically go to the next line. So let's write a code for maybe a small poem by Edgar Allan Poe. So This is the code, document class article, begin, document. Let's emphasize on Annabelle Lee, and let's go to the next line. It was many and many a year ago. Let's go to the next line. In a kingdom by the sea. That a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabelle Lee. And document. So check this output. So something about page breaks. So if I did these two and I put a value in this argument, then this just provides additional vertical space. So if I need more vertical space, this is what I would write. So for example, let's say if I did 3 millimeters. So this is my first option. Then if I did an asterisk and then a value, this is just a variation of the same, but this prevents a page break before the next line. Of text. And then the next option you could use is line break and put a number. So this would be used to break the line slightly or strongly. If you use 0, a line break is allowed, but if 1 means it's desired, 2 and 3 mark more insistent requests, and 4 will force it. So that's one way to use line breaks. And then the command line break has another counterpart, which is the no line break. So then that will prevent a line break at the current position. Okay. So you could use 0, 1, 2, 3 again. Line break 4 forbids the command completely. Line break 0 is you're just recommending that not to break the line there. And then 1, 2, 3. So from 0 to 4 is your values of strength. So there are these 3 commands you can use to your advantage. Use them wisely. So this is one of them. Then the next one is new line. And then we've got line break. This is used for formatting. So see how it works. Okay. So if you ever come across this instance, like if you were writing the word life, and when you're writing life, the dot of the I merges with the dash of the F. So one way to counter this process is to use these symbols, forward slash, backslash, both of them, and you would use it this way. Let me write you just one part of the word. So if I wanted to write half-life, I would put half, and then I'll have backslash, forward slash, and then life. And if you use this formatting, you'll notice that the half-life is written in such a way that it can be read easily. So put backslash and then forward slash, and you'll get half-life as a word, just like this, without the I and the F merging together. So this is part of a thing called a ligature, which just means that you're writing it in such a way that you can connect the two. So ligatures. You can also use curly braces to create the same effect. So if I wrote something like this or something like this, you'll get these two dashes. Like you might see some documents which have two dashes, but they are not joined together. So you can use this code to express that. If you want an ellipses, you would write 3 dots. That will give you the ellipses. So let's write a code for this thing. Document class article begin document and then tech was designed by Donald E. Note. It has become a de facto standard in mathematics. And let's end the document. So run this code and see what you observe. And de facto just means in fact, okay? So if you read the output, what do you see? You see that the tech part is all joined together, the word. Now, if you want to add some spacing in the word, you could do this. You could, let's say if you wrote a period and another period after it. This will create the spacing in between the word, like LaTeX. And you can use this if you want. Like look at the spacing. Like if I wrote a sentence, look at the spacing. And I fit in this thingy right here. Or if I wrote it in LaTeX. And you'll see this is another way to write the spacing. And another way to do it is to add French spacing in the preamble. You'll get the same result. And in the preamble. Remember, the preamble is the first part of your code. A little while ago, we mentioned the ellipses and dots. So if you wanted to do dots, let's see the difference between both. Sorry. So document class. Article. Begin document. And here are, here are 3 dots, and compare them to the ellipses. /L dots and end the document. So write this code and see what you. If we want to add accents, so this code, like, look at the accents. We are placing the accent right after the backslash and then the letter on top of where you want the accent. So this is how you'll write the accents. This is just a code. Try to use this code and see what result it gives you. I have to see what this phrasing means. But if you notice, there's a backslash and then the accent, and then the letter is in parentheses. So let's look at some command and output that we can use. So I'm going to make a list, command, and the output. So if I did backslash and with an A, I get this accent on top. If I did, I get this one. This will give me my umlaut. With an equal sign, I'll get something like the Omicron. And then with the dot, I'll get a dot. With a U, with the V, with the H, I'll get A and 2 of these. Then I'll write the rest over here. If I did T and 2 O's, I'll get this. If I did C and C, I'll get this accent below it. And then if I did D and N, I'll get a dot below the N. And if I did B and I, I'll get a line below the I. So some of the accents, and these are special characters that you can get from Latex. So this is a different approach to using accents directly. So let's put document class article. And now let's use a package. So whenever you use a package, you just say use package. And now this is a UTF-8 input ENC. This is the package name. So let's begin document and end the document. And again, no spaces, okay? So just write it all together. I'm writing with spaces so that they can be read as words. But here we'll put a space when you're writing your paragraph. So you'll get the same output, but this is a simpler way to write the code. So what is happening here? I have loaded the input ENC package. Now the option UTF-8, what it does is it tells the package to use Unicode. Now the Unicode has more symbols than just the ASCII code. So the ASCII code is the American standard codes that we use normally on your QWERTY, but the Unicode provides you with more symbols that you may use. So here we'll use a method to turn off full justification. So remember in the power box we had spaces when you used the code. To avoid those spaces, let's use a code like this. So document class article begin document and then you put power box, the paragraph box. Let's write it with 3 cm. Now if you put this command ragged right, what it does is the ragged right moves the text to the left margin. So then you won't have any hyphenation. The word will try to come in its entire form on the left. Okay? So if I wrote the same sentence, ragged right, TUG is an acronym. It means tech users group, and then end the document. So if you see this result, you'll see that the word acronym will appear on the left instead of the right. And if you want the entire document to be ragged right, you can add ragged right in the preamble. So in the beginning part. So the entire document will be ragged right. Similarly, if you need ragged left, you may also use that. So that's another option. Now, what if you want to center the text? So the next slide will show you how to center text. So to center your text, center a title. Again, you do the same thing. So document class, article, and then let's use a page style, empty. Begin document. Centering, huge BF series, centered text, and then large, normal font, written by me, and then normal size today. So everything will be centered if you look at this document, and then you end your document. So to make this code run properly, if you end the curly bracket after today, you'll notice that the last line will not be in alignment. So to get it to align, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make one modification. So we'll hit enter twice to create a gap to start the paragraph, the next paragraph. So I'll place the curly bracket over here and then just end the document. And that will work better for you. So if you were writing poetry and you wanted to center the text, so let's try to create one using that same poem that we wrote a little while ago. So document class, article. So here we'll use package. Let's use URL. Begin the document. No indent. So indentation means that there is a space from the left, but here there is no space. So this is the beginning of the poem, let's say. By Edgar Allan Poe. So let's begin by centering the name. So let's do center. And let's emphasize on the author's name. Sorry, the poem's name. And let's end the center. Okay. Then let's write the poem, right? again, you want the poem in the center. So center, and let's write the lines. So I'm gonna write the lines here. It was many and many years ago. Next line. In a kingdom by the sea. Next line. That a maiden there lived, whom you may know. By the name of Annabel Lee. And let's end the center. Okay, so this will let you show the poem in the middle. Now let's say if we continue the code and we say the complete poem can be found and let's put the URL http. Now here you use forward slashes, okay, for http to get the online-literature.com /po. All of these are forward slash 576 and then close this. And then you end the document. So this is the entire code. And see how it runs, and let's look at how it will work. It's called a backtick. Okay, this code will show you how to put quotation marks. So document class, article, begin document, Niels Bohr said, colon. Now here we are going to use this quote, the angled quote, which you will find next to the digit 1 on your keyboard. This is the button you're going to press to get the first part, okay? An expert is a person who has made all the mistakes that can be made in a very narrow field. And for the quotation mark, you'll use 2 of these, and this will be placed next to your colon, semicolon, and you've got the 2 quote. We are going to use the one single quote, okay, but twice. That's how it will work. Another way to show the quote is also this way. So Albert Einstein began quote, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. End quote. And then let's write something like errors are inevitable. So let's be brave. Trying something new. Run this code, see what you see. Because then you can use these methods to format your text. This character right here, this character is called a backtick. So we're going to use the backtick for the first part. Okay? Now if you want to quote longer text, you can write this code. Document class article use package URL. So we are going to also provide a web link. Begin document. Now see how this code works. The authors of the C10 team listed 10 good reasons for using tech. Among them are begin quotation. So see how this works, okay? So last time we used quote. This time we are using quotation. So if we wanted to put more quotations, let's just continue with this code. And let's say if I want to say something like tech has the best output. We can write more, but let's just leave it there. And then on the next paragraph, we write tech knows typesetting. And then tech is passed. So tech is stable. And end quotation. And then you can use the URL. And let's just use the link maybe. Now these are forward slashes, okay, when you're writing the URL. And then the document. So let's see what this code prints for you. Okay. And remember to use spaces here. So I'll put space. So you hit an extra enter to create the space. So in the last video, we used spacing in the paragraphs to separate the quotations. Now in this video, we'll use the package parse skip, which means paragraph skip. And this will skip your paragraph. So whenever you want to skip paragraphs without creating that space where you hit an extra enter, you can just use parse skip. So document class, again article, use package, parse skip, use package URL, so what the URL package does is if you click the URL, it's going to take you to that link. All right, that's the advantage. Begin document, so it acts like a pointer. And we'll also have end document somewhere at the end. Okay, so again, let's print a few things. I'm just going to put a few lines here. The authors of C10 say tech has the best output. And the original text is at /URL, and let's just put the link http://www.c10org what is tech.html. So see what this prints for you, okay?